I wheeled the cart with a wreath, cheerfully appearing at the entrance of the Hyatt wedding venue. The guests' smiles instantly froze, and the wedding came to a screeching halt. On stage, the groom, Marcus, who was exchanging rings, abruptly shot his head up. The face I once loved so deeply was now etched with shock and panic. "Olivia? What are you doing here?" The bride, Sarah, clad in a white wedding gown, turned utterly pale and clutched his hand tightly. "Marcus, who is she?" I adjusted my black dress, my voice clear and sweet. "I am Olivia, Mr. Marcus's legal wife. I heard Mr. Marcus was getting married today, so I specifically came to offer a funeral wreath as my congratulations." The entire hall erupted in a buzz. Guests in the audience began whispering and murmuring, their voices rising and falling. Some pulled out their cell phones to take photos and videos, flashbulbs incessantly flashing. "Didn't they say Mr. Marcus was single? What's going on? Bigamy?" Calmly, I took down the banner from the wreath and unfurled it before everyone. It bore blood-red bold letters that read, "Congratulations, Marcus and Sarah, on your wedding. May you reunite soon in the afterlife." Sarah's legs gave out, and she nearly collapsed on the stage. Marcus's face was as dark as a thundercloud. He gritted his teeth and said, "Olivia, are you insane? This is my wedding." "Exactly. Because it's your wedding, I had to come and give my blessings." I tilted my head, smiling with an innocent air. "Mr. Marcus, have you forgotten? We haven't finalized our divorce yet. According to state marriage laws, you are committing bigamy." Marcus's face instantly turned ashen. "Impossible. We're clearly divorced." I pulled out my marriage certificate from my clutch bag and waved it in the air. "Mr. Marcus, have you seen this clearly? The official seal on this marriage certificate is still perfectly clear. When did you divorce me? Why don't I know about it?" Sarah collapsed to the floor, her beauty full wedding dress fanning out like a withered white flower. She asked in a trembling voice, "Marcus, you lied to me? You said you were single." "Sarah, let me explain, I really thought we were divorced." Marcus stammered, trying to explain. I let out a soft chuckle and walked to the microphone at the front of the stage. The guests held their breath, awaiting my next words. "Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for interrupting your celebration." My voice echoed through the entire ballroom via the sound system. "I am Olivia, Marcus's legal wife. We registered our marriage at City Hall 3 years ago and have never divorced." I paused, looking at the two shell-shocked figures on stage. 3 months ago, I discovered my dearest husband and Miss Sarah had started a new family together, and Miss Sarah was even pregnant with his child. As his wife, I naturally had to come and congratulate them on their new marriage. The entire hall was in an uproar. A middle-aged woman angrily stood up. "Marcus, how could you treat your wife like that? That's outrageous. Isn't that deception?" "Sarah is no better. She knew he had a wife and still married him." Facing the crowd's accusations, Sarah covered her face and burst into tears. "I didn't know. I really didn't know he wasn't divorced." I sneered and pulled several photos from my clutch bag. "Miss Sarah, you have a terrible memory, don't you? These photos show you and my husband out together at various events. And there are even photos of you personally provoking me right at my doorstep. You claim you didn't know?" I held up the photos one by one, each one clearly documenting their intimate moments and Sarah's blatant arrogance. Marcus roared, "What exactly do you want?" I put away the photos, ran a hand through my hair, and smiled. "I don't want anything. I just want to offer you my blessing. After all, a woman who can captivate my husband so completely must be very special, right?" I turned to Sarah, my voice still gentle. "Miss Sar. How many months along is the baby in your belly?" "It looks about 6 months, doesn't it? If we do the math, it seems the baby was conceived on my wedding anniversary with Mr. Marcus. How incredibly special." Sarah's face went ghost white, and she instinctively shielded her stomach. My smile grew even brighter. "But, Sarah, you don't need to worry. I won't fight you for a man. I came here today to officially announce that from today onwards, Mr. Marcus is free." With that, I pulled a document from my clutch bag and held it high. "These are the divorce papers, and I've already signed them. Mr. Marcus, all you have to do is sign, and you can legitimately marry your idealized love." The hall erupted once more. No one expected that I would be the one to initiate the divorce. Marcus was stunned, seemingly unable to believe his ears. You're really willing to divorce?" "Of course." I smiled radiantly, like a spring blossom. "However, there's a small condition." "What condition?" Marcus asked anxiously. I bit my lower lip, feigning hesitation. "It's nothing major. I just hope Mr. Marcus can return everything that belongs to me from the past 3 years." "What things?" Sarah stood up from the floor, watching me warily. I pulled out a folder from my clutch bag and began, unhurriedly. First, my assets brought into the marriage. When I married you, I brought some minor assets. I opened the folder and took out the first document. 3 plots of Evergreen City's downtown business district plots, valued at $1.2 billion. A collective gasp rippled through the hall. Also, Crown Mall, Evergreen City's largest shopping center, valued at $800 million. 10 villas in Starlight, valued at $300 million. 30% of Hayes's shares, valued at $1.5 billion. My voice was clear and melodic, as effortless as reading a shopping list. Oh, right, and the share transfer agreement for my father's company. To help Hayes overcome its difficulties back then, I transferred 40 perk and Vance shares to Mr. Marcus. Vance is now worth $4 billion, so 40% of that is $1.6 billion. With each number I spoke, Marcus's face grew a shade paler. By the end, he was as white as a sheet. The guests in the audience were completely dumbfounded. They never imagined that this seemingly gentle and kind woman was a hidden multimillionaire. Impossible! Sarah shrieked. How could you have so much money? Weren't you just a frumpy wife who only knew how to do housework? I tilted my head, blinking innocently. Frumpy wife? Miss Sarah, that's an interesting thing to say. I, Olivia, am a PhD in finance from Evergreen City University and the eldest daughter of Vance. What right do you have to call me a frumpy wife? I turned to Marcus, my smile even brighter. Mr. Marcus, have you forgotten to tell Miss Sarah how you pursued me back then? You said you loved me for who I am, not for my status or wealth. But now it seems you loved my money. Marcus opened his mouth, wanting to retort, but found himself speechless. I continued, 3 years ago, Hayes was on the verge of bankruptcy. I used all my savings and shares to help you overcome the difficulties. You knelt before me then, promising to repay me for a lifetime. Now it seems your lifetime was only 3 years. Olivia, Marcus started to explain something. I waved my hand, cutting him off. No need to explain, Mr. Marcus. I understand your choice. After all, Miss Sarah is young and beautiful, and she's carrying your child, while I'm just a fading, frumpy wife. As I said this, a sweet smile remained on my face, but everyone present heard the bitter sarcasm in my words. Sarah's face flushed crimson. She snapped, Olivia, stop being so sarcastic. Marcus doesn't love you, he's with me because of true love. True love? I chuckled. Miss Sarah, do you know when the baby in your belly was conceived? Sarah froze. What do you mean? I took several prenatal checkup reports from the folder. These are your prenatal reports from Olivia Hospital. According to the ultrasound, you are 24 weeks pregnant. If we do the math, that means you conceived about 6 months ago. I paused, then looked at Marcus. 6 months ago was exactly when I was hospitalized due to illness. I was undergoing chemotherapy in the hospital, and Mr. Marcus was out making a baby with another woman. Is that what you call true love? A heavy silence descended upon the hall. Everyone was stunned by this revelation. Who would have thought that this seemingly gentle and kind woman was actually a cancer patient? And her husband, while she was sick, was out having a child with another woman. Marcus's face went completely white, and he stammered, Olivia, I didn't know you were sick. Didn't know? My voice remained gentle, but every word was like a knife. Mr. Marcus, you came home promptly at 10 every night. I'd send you messages from my hospital bed, and you'd say you were working late. Was your working late actually you being intimate with Miss Sarah at a hotel? I pulled out my cell phone from my clutch bag and brought up the text messages. Look, this was the last message I sent you from the hospital. Marcus, I'm in so much pain, can you come be with me? Your reply was, busy, don't bother me. I looked up at Marcus. That night, I was in pain alone in the hospital all night. And you were celebrating Miss Sarah's pregnancy. Sarah's face grew increasingly pale. She suddenly realized that she might have been deceived. I put away my cell phone and ran a hand through my hair. So, Mr. Marcus, do you still want to say that you and Miss Sarah have true love? Marcus opened his mouth, but no sound came out. I smiled, my voice returning to its sweet tone. Well, it doesn't matter. Let bygones be bygones. I came here today to give you both a blessing. I hope you'll be happy and grow old together. I turned to face all the guests. Ladies and gentlemen, since it's a wedding, how can we not have a bridal bouquet? I plucked a few white chrysanthemums from the funeral wreath and arranged them into a small bouquet. Miss Sarah, these are my wedding blessings for you. With that, I tossed the chrysanthemum bouquet towards Sarah. Sarah looked at the flying white chrysanthemums, her face ashen as paper. White chrysanthemums, which symbolize mourning in Chinese culture, giving them at a wedding is simply the most malicious curse. She instinctively recoiled but tripped on her wedding gown and fell heavily on the stage. Sarah! Marcus rushed to help her up, only to see blood seeping through her dress. Sarah's face went ghost white. She clutched Marcus's hand tightly. The baby, my baby. The hall erupted into chaos. Someone was calling for an ambulance, others were taking photos and videos, and many more were pointing and whispering. I remained standing there, a gentle smile on my face, as if nothing had happened. Olivia! Marcus roared. Are you satisfied now? Satisfied with what? I blinked innocently. What does Miss Sarah falling have to do with me? She lost her footing and fell herself. I didn't push her. Indeed, everything that happened had been witnessed by everyone. Sarah herself was startled by the chrysanthemums and tripped on her dress when she recoiled. I had never laid a finger on her. The ambulance quickly arrived, and the paramedics lifted Sarah onto a stretcher. Before she was carried away, Sarah glared at me with a venomous look. Olivia, you vicious woman. I walked up to her, bent down, and whispered in her ear, oh, darling, this is just the beginning. The real show is yet to come. Sarah's eyes widened, as if she couldn't believe what she had heard. Marcus followed the ambulance, but not before shooting me a menacing glare. Olivia, I won't let you get away with this. I waved at him, sweetly saying, goodbye, Mr. Marcus, and remember to sign those divorce papers. As the ambulance left, the guests in the ballroom began to disperse. But no one seemed in a hurry to leave. Everyone was whispering amongst themselves, discussing everything that had just unfolded. That is absolutely brilliant. Indeed, she seems gentle on the surface, but she's cunning and manipulative. But I think she did the right thing. If it were me, I wouldn't let that cheating couple off easy either. Marcus is a real piece of work, having an affair while his wife was sick. Listening to these comments, my mood was excellent as I tidied my documents. Just then, a middle-aged man approached me. He was impeccably dressed in a suit, exuding an unusual aura, looking like a successful businessman. Ms. Olivia, I'm David, CEO of Zenith. He handed me a business card. I saw everything that happened. You handled that beautifully. I took the business card and politely said, Mr. David, you flatter me. David chuckled. Ms. Olivia, are you interested in a collaboration? I'm very impressed by your business acumen. I tilted my head and thought. Mr. David, what kind of collaboration do you have in mind? Zenith wants to enter the real estate industry, and I hear you own some of Evergreen City's prime downtown business district plots. We could discuss it. A shrewd glint sparkled in David's eyes. I smiled. Mr. David, you're very well informed. But now isn't the time to talk business. I have more important matters to attend to. What matters? David asked curiously. I put away the divorce papers and walked out of the hotel. Of course, I'm going to the hospital to visit my dear husband and his idealized love. After all, I am a dutiful wife. David paused, then burst out laughing. Ms. Olivia, you are indeed interesting. I won't keep you then. Here's my private cell number. Feel free to contact me anytime. I took the slip of paper and nodded. Stepping out of the hotel, I took a deep breath of fresh air. Evergreen City's sky was blue, and the sunshine was warm. I pulled out my cell phone and dialed a number. Secretary, please prepare for my visit to the hospital. Remember to prepare a significant gift. A respectful voice came from the other end. Understood, Ms. Olivia. What kind of gift should I prepare? I thought for a moment, a perfect arc forming on my lips. Prepare a miscarriage insurance policy, and a bouquet of white roses. And on the card, write, May Sarah and your baby be safe. Understood, Ms. Olivia. Hanging up the phone, I got into the Rolls-Royce parked by the curb. The driver respectfully asked, Ms. Olivia, where are we going? To Memorial Hospital. I leaned back in the leather seats. I'm going to visit my husband and his mistress. The car started, heading towards the hospital. Through the window, I saw reporters still interviewing outside the Hyatt, flashbulbs continuously flashing. I expected today's events would quickly become front-page news. I took out my cell phone, opened X, formerly Twitter, and posted an update. Thank you all for attending my husband's wedding today. Although the bride wasn't me, I still extend my sincere best wishes. I hope they find happiness and reunite soon. The post was accompanied by a photo of me with the funeral wreath, smiling innocently, like a pure angel. The post instantly caused a sensation. The comment section blew up, with netizens flooding in to support me. Goddess is incredible. Now that's a master manipulator. Learning so much, so this is how you get back at a cheating scumbag. My heart goes out to Goddess. For her husband to cheat while she was sick, that's truly outrageous. Marcus is just a scumbag, he doesn't deserve goddess. Watching these comments, my mood brightened considerably. The first step of my plan was a success. Now everyone in Evergreen City knew Marcus was a scumbag who betrayed his wife, and Sarah was the other woman who broke up a family. Next, it was time to execute the second step of my plan. At Memorial Hospital's VIP suite, Sarah lay in bed, her face pale as paper, while Marcus sat beside her, looking distraught. I knew my actions had set this scene in motion. "Doctor, how are my wife and baby?" Marcus grabbed the doctor's white coat, asking anxiously. He adjusted his glasses and said gravely, "The patient's condition is quite dangerous. Although the fetus has been temporarily saved, she needs absolute bed rest." And what? Marcus asked nervously. "The patient's physical condition is not very good, she has symptoms of a threatened miscarriage. If she experiences any further stimulation, it's very likely she won't be able to keep the child." The finished speaking and turned to leave the hospital room. Sarah lay on the bed, tears streaming down her face. "Marcus, it's all Olivia's fault. If she hadn't caused trouble, our baby would be fine." Marcus held her hand, gritting his teeth. "It's all my fault. I should have divorced her sooner." "Didn't you say you were divorced? Why does Olivia still have a marriage certificate?" Sarah asked, looking at him with suspicion. Marcus stammered, "I thought she would go and file for divorce herself. She loved me so much, she shouldn't have delayed the divorce." "So you didn't even go to City Hall?" Sarah's voice grew louder. "Marcus, you lied to me." "Sarah, let me explain." Marcus began, but then, the hospital room door was knocked. A nurse pushed the door open. "Miss Sarah, someone sent you flowers." The nurse held a large bouquet of white roses, tied with a pink ribbon, looking very elegant. Sarah took the bouquet, puzzled. "Who sent them?" The nurse handed her a card. "It's written on the card." Sarah opened the card, and her face instantly turned ashen. In delicate handwriting, it read, "May Sarah and your baby be safe, and recover soon." Olivia. Sarah was trembling with rage and threw the bouquet onto the floor. "Olivia is cursing me." Marcus also saw the card, his face as dark as water. "That woman is truly malicious." The nurse was still at the door. She added, "Oh, and there's a lawyer who wants to see Miss Sarah. He says it's about an insurance claim." "What insurance?" Sarah was baffled. Soon, a middle-aged man in a suit walked into the hospital room. He wore gold-rimmed glasses and carried a briefcase. He clearly looked like a professional. "Hello, I'm Henry, a lawyer from Sterling Group." He handed over a business card. "I've been entrusted by Ms. Olivia to handle the miscarriage insurance claim for Miss Sarah." "Miscarriage insurance?" Sarah's eyes widened. "What miscarriage insurance?" The lawyer opened his briefcase and took out a policy. "This is a miscarriage insurance policy that Ms. Olivia purchased for you. The coverage is $500,000, and if you unfortunately miscarry, you can receive full compensation." Sarah looked at her name on the policy and was so angry she nearly fainted. "Olivia, what exactly does she want?" "Miss Sarah, please calm down," the lawyer said, pushing up his glasses. "According to the insurance terms, if the insured person miscarries due to an accidental event, the insurance company will process the claim. Ms. Olivia said she's very concerned about your health and specifically bought this insurance for you." Marcus roared, "Get out. Leave immediately." The lawyer calmly put away his documents. "Then I'll take my leave. Miss Sarah, I've left this policy on the bedside table. You can contact us anytime if you need it." After the lawyer left, a heavy silence filled the hospital room. Marcus sat on the chair, his expression complex. I knew he was realizing he might have never truly understood me. The old me was gentle and kind, never arguing with anyone. Even if he occasionally spoke harshly, I would simply endure it in silence. But today, I was like a completely different person. Every action I took, every word I spoke, seemed meticulously calculated, accurately striking at their weak points. And he only found out today that I was so wealthy. Those properties, shares, billions in assets, he had been completely oblivious. "Marcus, what are why? Oh, you thinking about?" Sarah asked weakly. Marcus snapped out of his thoughts. "Nothing, just rest well." "You're not still thinking about that woman, are you?" Sarah's voice carried a hint of jealousy. "Marcus, don't forget, she almost made me miscarry today." Marcus was silent for a moment, then said, "Sarah, you rest for now. I'm going out to make a phone call." He walked out of the hospital room and dialed his private investigator. "Find out everything about Olivia. I want to know everything about her." "Understood, Mr. Marcus." However, the private investigator hesitated. "However what?" Today, news about you and Ms. Olivia is all over the internet. Now everyone in Evergreen City knows you had an affair during your wife's illness and committed bigamy. Ms. Olivia is a viral sensation now, and she has a lot of support. Marcus frowned. What are you trying to say? My point is, investigating Ms. Olivia might not be easy. And, your current reputation. Marcus irritably hung up the phone. He pulled out his cell phone, opened X, formerly Twitter, and saw my post. The comments had already exceeded 100,000, all expressing support for me. And the comments about him were uniformly negative. Scumbag, cheating scumbag, and ungrateful filled the entire comment section. To make matters worse, some netizens had doxed his company information. Hayes's shares had started plummeting that afternoon, and clients were calling to question his character. Marcus suddenly realized that my scene today wasn't just about revenge, it was about completely destroying his career and reputation. The next morning, Hayes's office was in a frenzy. Mr. Marcus, Juaran is demanding to terminate the cooperation agreement. Mr. Marcus, the bank says they want to recall the loan early. Mr. Marcus, the tenants in the office tower are demanding to terminate their leases. Bad news poured in one after another, and Marcus's face grew increasingly grim. His assistant, Leo, rushed into the office. Mr. Marcus, Olivia is here. What does she want? Marcus gritted his teeth. She says she wants to discuss the divorce papers with you, the assistant slowly replied. Marcus took a deep breath and adjusted his clothes. Let her in. I then walked into the office. Today, I was wearing a black suit and delicate makeup, looking elegant and poised, nothing like the crazy woman he saw at the wedding yesterday. Good morning, Mr. Marcus. I sat on the sofa, crossing my legs, with a relaxed demeanor. Marcus looked at me, his emotions complex. Olivia, what exactly do you want? I tilted my head, feigning incomprehension. What do I want? Haven't I been clear? I want a divorce. Then where are the divorce papers? Where do I sign? I took the agreement from my bag and placed it on the coffee table. Right here. But before you sign, I'd like to confirm the property division. Marcus picked up the agreement, and his face instantly changed. Are you insane? I can't agree to these terms. The agreement clearly stated that Marcus needed to return all my assets brought into the marriage, including the 3 land plots, Crown Mall, the Starlight Villas, and Vance shares. Additionally, he had to pay me $50 million for emotional damages over the past 3 years. Mr. Marcus, these were originally mine, I said matter-of-factly. When I married you, all of these were on the dowry list. Now that we're divorcing, of course, they must be returned to me. But these assets have already been used for company operations. Where am I supposed to find that much money? Marcus was sweating profusely in his agitation. I shrugged. That's not my problem. Mr. Marcus, you're not trying to renege on your obligations, are you? Olivia, we've been married for 3 years, you can't be so heartless. Marcus tried to play the emotional card. I smiled, my expression tinged with sarcasm. Married for 3 years? Mr. Marcus, do you even remember we were married? Where were you when I was sick? While I was undergoing chemotherapy alone in the hospital, you were with another woman. My voice was soft, but every word felt like a needle piercing Marcus's heart. You say I'm heartless? Then when Sarah was pregnant with your child, why didn't you feel you were being heartless towards me? Marcus was speechless. I stood up and adjusted my clothes. Mr. Marcus, I'm giving you 3 days to consider. If you don't sign this agreement, then I'll see you in court. At that point, I won't just reclaim my assets, I'll also pursue legal action for bigamy. Bigamy carries a maximum sentence of 2 years. Mr. Marcus wouldn't want to go to jail, would he? My tone was light, as if I were discussing the weather. Marcus's face was ashen. Olivia, do you really mean to destroy me completely? Destroy you completely? I retorted. Mr. Marcus, if I truly wanted to destroy you completely, do you think you'd still be sitting here talking to me? I walked to the window, looking at the bustling street traffic below. I checked yesterday, Hayes's debt ratio has already exceeded 80%. If I withdraw all my investments, your company won't last a week. Marcus's heart sank. He suddenly realized that I knew everything about his affair with Sarah, and even the company's financial situation was an open book to me. Do you know why I haven't done that? I turned to face him. Because I still remember our marital bond. I'm giving you a chance for a dignified exit. I walked to the door and glanced back at him. Mr. Marcus, 3 days. I hope you make a wise decision. After I left, Marcus collapsed into his chair. He picked up the agreement, looking at the terms, his emotions a tangled mess. If he followed this agreement, he would leave with nothing. but if he didn't sign, I truly would send him to jail. He picked up his cell phone and called Sarah. Sarah, how are you feeling? Still very weak. This says I need to stay in the hospital for a week of observation. Sarah's voice sounded aggrieved. Marcus, when are you coming to see me? Marcus hesitated. I might have some things to deal with. I'll come later. What things? Is bothering you again? Sarah said angrily. Marcus was already stressed about company matters, and hearing her complaints made him even more agitated. Sarah, can you please stop making things worse? I'm very busy right now. Making things worse? I just want to clear my name. Sarah cried, feeling wronged. Clear your name? Why didn't you tell the truth when you gave that interview? You clearly knew I had a wife. Marcus finally exploded. There was silence on the other end of the line. After a long while, Sarah said weakly, Marcus, how can you say that to me? I said those things to protect you. If I admitted I knew you were married, your reputation would be even worse. Marcus rubbed his temples wearily. Forget it, just focus on resting and the baby. Don't worry about anything else. Hanging up the phone, Marcus looked at the divorce papers on the table and fell into deep thought. Perhaps, agreeing to my terms really was the best option. Just then, his assistant knocked on the door. Mr. Marcus, Ms. Olivia is here. What does she want now? Didn't I say 3 days? Marcus thought. She says she has something important to tell you. Marcus took a deep breath. Let her in. I walked into the office. Today, I was wearing a black suit and looked particularly efficient. Good afternoon, Mr. Marcus. I sat down, my demeanor composed. Olivia, what do you want now? Marcus asked, clearly annoyed. I pulled out a folder. Let me show you something interesting. Then I opened the folder, took out some photos, and said, these are Sarah's medical records. Do you know why she's prone to miscarriages? Marcus looked at the photos, his brows furrowed. What do you mean? She's had 3 miscarriages before. I said calmly. And, according to her medical records, her uterine lining is very thin, making it difficult for her to conceive. Marcus's expression changed. What are you trying to say? I took out another report. This is her blood test results. Do you know what medication she's been taking throughout her pregnancy? What medication? Marcus asked, somewhat confused. Birth control pills. I said coldly. Mr. Marcus, do you think a woman who truly wants a child would take birth control pills while pregnant? Marcus stared blankly at the report, his mind a complete blank. Sarah couldn't possibly be taking birth control pills. She wanted this baby so much. I let out a soft laugh. Wants a child? Mr. Marcus, do you truly know Sarah? As I spoke, I took out more photos from the folder. These are her shopping records. In the past month, she purchased a large quantity of birth control pills and abortion pills. The photos clearly showed surveillance screenshots of Sarah purchasing medication at various local pharmacies, with the dates and locations distinctly marked. According to my investigation, before she met you, Sarah had been pregnant 3 times, and each time resulted in an intentional miscarriage. Marcus's hand trembled. Why would she do that? Because she never wanted children. With that, I took out a voice recorder. This is a recording of her phone call with a friend. Listen to what she really thinks of you. The recording began to play, and Sarah's voice came through clearly. Marcus is just a total sucker. He does whatever I tell him. He buys me anything I want. He's so easy to manipulate. So what if his wife has money? Once I marry him, all that money will be mine anyway, won't it? I've already planned it out. After we're married, I'll make him transfer all his assets into my name. A baby? I definitely don't want a baby. Giving birth is so painful, and it would ruin my figure. I'm just putting on a show to make him think I love him and that I'm willing to have his child. Olivia, that stupid woman, we've been stringing her along for 3 years. It would be better if she just died sooner. Save me the trouble of having her in my sight. When the recording ended, a deathly silence fell over the office. Marcus slumped into his chair, his face ashen. He had never imagined that Sarah viewed him this way. Do you still believe she loves you now? I asked him calmly. Marcus closed his eyes, his voice hoarse. Olivia, why are you telling me all this? Because I want you to know the truth. I sat down on the sofa and spoke slowly. Mr. Marcus, you betrayed someone who truly loved you for a woman who doesn't love you at all. Do you think it was worth it? Marcus opened his eyes and looked at me. What about you? Do you still love me? I paused for a moment, then shook my head. No, I don't. The moment you first betrayed me, my love for you died. Mr. Marcus, what have you decided about the divorce agreement? Marcus looked at the agreement on the table, his emotions a tangled mess. He now knew Sarah's true colors and understood what he had truly lost. But it was too late for regrets. I'll sign it. He picked up the pen and signed his name on the agreement. I picked up the agreement, scanned it, and nodded in satisfaction. Excellent. We'll go to City Hall tomorrow to finalize the divorce. After saying that, I walked to the door and left him with one last message. Oh, and Mr. Marcus. Sarah will be receiving a special gift this afternoon. You might want to go see her reaction. I imagine it will be quite interesting. Then, I truly left. Marcus sat in his office, a mix of emotions swirling within him. He picked up his cell phone, looked at Sarah's number, hesitated for a long time, then finally dialed. Marcus, you finally called me. Sarah's voice sounded very happy. Sarah, how are you feeling? Marcus's voice was complex. Much better. The doctor said the baby is healthy and not to worry. Sarah said sweetly, Marcus, when are you coming to see me? I miss you. Listening to her falsely sweet voice, and remembering her true colors from the recording, Marcus felt a wave of nausea. I'll be right over, he said, then hung up the phone. He was going to confront Sarah face to face, to ask her why she had lied to him, and why she had hurt Olivia. More importantly, he wanted to know how many more secrets she was hiding from him. At the hospital, Sarah was leisurely browsing her cell phone, looking at the news about her online. Although many people were still criticizing her, there was also a fair amount of support, which pleased her. Suddenly, the hospital room door was pushed open. A delivery driver walked in. Excuse me, are you Miss Sarah? Your package. Sarah took the package doubtfully. I didn't order anything. The delivery driver smiled. Someone else sent it to you. Please sign for it. Sarah signed, and after the delivery driver left, she opened the package. Inside was an elegant gift box and a card. The card read, a little gift for Miss Sarah, hope you enjoy it. Your concerned friend, Olivia. Sarah curiously opened the gift box, which contained a USB drive and a photo I had prepared. The photo was a surveillance screenshot of her buying birth control pills at a local pharmacy, with the date and location clearly marked. Sarah's face instantly paled. With trembling hands, she plugged in the USB drive, which contained recordings of her phone calls with friends and her detailed medical records. Impossible. How did Olivia get all this? Sarah whispered, trembling with fear. Just then, Marcus pushed open the door and walked in. Marcus! Sarah hastily closed her laptop, trying to hide something, but's expression was cold. He walked to the bedside and said in a low voice, Sarah, we need to talk. Talk about what? Sarah asked, her voice tinged with guilt. Marcus took out his cell phone and played the recording. When heard her own voice, her face instantly turned ashen. Marcus, listen to me, this isn't real. Not real? Marcus sneered. Then what's this? He showed her He photo of Sarah purchasing birth control pills. Sarah completely panicked. Marcus, I can explain. Explain what? Explain why you were taking birth control pills while pregnant? Explain why you called me a sucker? Explain why you lied and told me you loved me? Marcus's voice grew louder and louder. Sarah burst into tears. Marcus, I really do love you. I was just so afraid of losing you. That's why I said those things. Afraid of losing me? Marcus retorted angrily. Then why were you taking birth control pills? You never wanted our child. Sarah stammered, unable to speak. Marcus looked at her, his heart filled with disappointment and fury. Sarah, I betrayed my wife for you, risked my career for you, lost everything for you. And now you're telling me it was all a lie? It's not a lie. I really do love you. Sarah desperately tried to salvage the situation. Marcus, you can't let Olivia's manipulation make you doubt our relationship. Manipulation? Marcus pulled out the USB drive. This contains all your medical records, surveillance footage of you buying medication, and recordings of your calls with friends. Are you saying Olivia forged all of this? Sarah was utterly speechless. Marcus looked at her, his heart filled with nothing but endless regret. I must have been blind to ever trust you. Marcus, you can't do this to me. I'm carrying your child. Sarah struggled, her last desperate plea. Child? Marcus sneered. Are you sure there's actually a baby in your belly? That question completely rattled Sarah. She instinctively clutched her stomach. What do you mean? I mean, perhaps we should perform a detailed examination to see exactly what's in your belly. Marcus pressed the call button, summoning the doctor. The doctor nodded. All right, we'll arrange it. No. I don't want a checkup. Sarah frantically refused. But it was too late. The doctor and nurses were already preparing the examination equipment. Half an hour later, the test Results came back. The doctor held the report, his expression somewhat complex. Mr. Marcus, according to the test results, the patient is indeed pregnant. However what? Marcus asked anxiously. However, the fetal development isn't looking good. Furthermore, we detected a significant amount of birth control medication in the patient's blood, the doctor stated gravely. If she continues to take these drugs, the fetus is very likely to be lost. Sarah collapsed onto the hospital bed, no longer able to argue. Marcus looked at her, his eyes filled with disgust. Sarah, you are truly malicious. If you didn't want a child, why did you deceive me? Sarah tried to explain, but all her lies had been exposed. Enough. Marcus turned to leave. Marcus, you can't just abandon me. Sarah rushed forward, trying to grab him, but pushed her away with a shove. Sarah, we're over. From today onwards, I never want to see you again. He left the hospital room without looking back. Sarah collapsed to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. She knew her beautiful dream was utterly shattered. Outside the hospital, I sat in my car, watching Marcus emerge from the building, a satisfied smile curving my lips. The next morning, at the entrance of City Hall, I arrived punctually, wearing a white dress. Marcus was already waiting for me. He hadn't slept all night, his eyes were bloodshot, and he looked utterly haggard. Good morning, Mr. Marcus. I walked up to him, a radiant smile on my face. Marcus looked at me, his emotions conflicted. Olivia, are we truly going to go through with this? Of course. I stated matter-of-factly. Does Marcus still wish to continue this broken marriage? Marcus was silent for a moment, then said, if I said I'm sorry, would you still forgive me? I rejected him outright. An apology changes nothing. Then I gestured toward the City Hall entrance. Let's go in. Once the paperwork is done, we'll both be free. Seeing my resolute stance, Marcus followed me into City Hall, and we began the divorce proceedings. The staff member looked at our documents and asked, somewhat curiously, are you sure you want to divorce? You both seem to be in very good circumstances. I smiled and said, yes, we are certain. What about asset division? Do you need our assistance with that? No, we've already settled it privately. I produced the divorce agreement. The staff member glanced at the agreement, their eyes widening. According to the document, Marcus was leaving with virtually nothing, while I was reclaiming all assets. Mr. Marcus, are you sure you agree to these terms? The staff member couldn't help but ask. Marcus let out a bitter laugh. I am certain. Half an hour later, the divorce certificates were ready. 2 red divorce certificates officially declared the end of their marriage. Stepping out of City Hall, I took a deep breath of fresh air. Marcus still seemed to want to say something, but I ignored him, got straight into my Lamborghini, and drove away. In the car, I took out my cell phone and dialed my assistant. Please arrange for a board meeting this afternoon. I will formally announce that I am resuming control of Vance. After hanging up, I looked out at the passing scenery, feeling a sense of satisfaction, because I knew my new life had just begun. As for Marcus and me, that was all in the past. From now on, my life would only get better and more exciting. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to share your perspectives, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.